Hello again, fellow infotainment enthusiasts. Today we've got the 2020 AMG GT-R and we're going to go over the infotainment, which is actually the sweet spot of Mercedes because it still has the rotary wheel. Now they're moving to touchpad. This one is rotary wheel and no touchscreen, as you can see. And then we've got the updated gauges right here, which we can toggle through. We still got the normal buttons right here to control that. And we've got our climate hard buttons right here, but we don't have any like shortcut buttons for everything. Instead, we kind of only have a little star right there, and then all our drive mode stuff right here. So starting with the infotainment, from the home screen, we got our nav, radio, media, phone, connect, and vehicle system. And we can control that with the rotary wheel by going left and right, and we can also jog instead of scrolling. So navigation, you know, usual good Mercedes infotainment navigation, not the newest one with the augmented reality stuff, not that I think, but yeah, it shouldn't have that, but we're never going to use that anyways because we always use Google Maps on Apple Carplay. Then in radio mode, we got to turn down our volume right here. We don't have a volume knob on the dash, and we don't have like a little slider. This is all we got. So just like our old reviews, we've got Sirius XM. It does rewind, it does do tune mix, but this hasn't been activated. So for now, all we have is this. Then to go back, we just click the back button right here, which is super convenient when you got your right hand on it. You just click there or with your thumb. You know, presets and everything, radio source, options to change all your settings. Let's see. Oh, that's just here, satellite radio options. Here, sound, change all your settings, so your balance, your equalizer. Let's see, what's everything set to? Please be 0. Oh no. The last person changed everything for the worst. Okay, then we can also, I guess, change our radio source. HD radio. I don't know who's gonna listen to that, but it's fine. There is no tuning knob, but if you set up tune mix, it'll be fine. So now let's go back. If we go to media, you know, it's just like playing something off your phone. My phone is not connected right now, but I'll connect it later for Apple CarPlay, because it seems like it keeps throwing to Apple CarPlay because I keep getting messages from people today. Phone, same thing. Connect, and then you can get your apps here. Make sure you're setting up for Apple CarPlay and all that stuff. Then vehicle. Vehicle, we have our climate control, which is nice. You know, if we click this button as well, it'll still pop up that screen. So, you know, focus, medium, diffuse, pretty straightforward. Lots of options. You don't really need to use them. And then if I start changing this, where is it? You'll see this change here. So then other cool stuff we have in here, dynamic select. That's all our drive modes and everything for individual. You know, we can change, I think it's comfort, sport, sport plus, and race. To be honest, it's probably best to just stick to the ones they give you, and then maybe set it up for individual if you'd like. You can click to adjust. But I would just, you know, set that up the way you'd like it. Let me put it to comfort. Then we have our engine data and our vehicle data here, which is pretty cool. While driving, you can get your horsepower and your torque. And again, you can't really record that and see it while driving in this mode, so it's not really super useful. And then vehicle data, you know, just what's going on with the car, and I guess how much gas and brake you're giving. Maybe that's fun for whoever's sitting in the passenger seat to see. Anyways, cool little gimmicks. And then if you look at this one, since it's the older one, when you click different modes, it does get laggy. Oops, not this one. If I go here, you'll see the transition does get low quality. But that's okay because we have the rotary wheel, and the rotary wheel is better than perfect graphics, as far as I'm concerned. So now if we move down to track pace, it'll be the full track pace app, but since it's the older one, it takes a lot longer to load up, and then you can connect this to your phone as well. It is a whole bunch of work to do, but it is pretty cool, especially if you're tracking it, and this is a GT-R, so you probably will track it. You'll get your lap times and stuff for on track, drag racing, full telemetry stuff. You know, you can set tracks in it. I haven't really had a chance to deep dive in it because no one's given me a Mercedes to just drive on the track for a couple days and figure out how to make it better. But here you can connect to the app and everything. I've made it work before. It's pretty cool. Definitely something you'd want to use and figure out if you're going to take it on the track. Assistance, so camera and parking, you know, all your sensors and all that stuff. Brake assist, attention assist. This doesn't have really good lane keep or anything. Actually, there's no lane keep, so that sucks. But, you know, that's where you'd find this stuff if it did have it. Consumption, just assume you're using a lot of gas the whole time, which we pretty much always are. And your light settings, it's just exterior. You don't have anything cool interior, like you got your cluster lighting and stuff. But no cool lights like the E-Class, so that kind of sucks. But it is a race car, so it doesn't really matter. And vehicle settings, belt adjustment. Jacob hates this. This is what tightens up your belt when you put it on, put the car into drive. And then acoustic lock is for the car to go beep beep. This one had it turned off. I really like that. And then folding in your mirrors, I love that because you always know. Automatic door lock, I don't really want to use because it's like every time I walk away it's going to lock. But like I can see why somebody would want that on. And then the owner's manual. So then let's dig into the next part, which is the best part, Apple CarPlay. So now if we hook up our Apple CarPlay, it's still normal USB because it's not the newest version with the touchscreen. Plug that in, and I already set it up, so it should just pop right up. If you haven't got it set up, go to the vehicle settings where it said CarPlay before. So then if I click back right here, I can go to my home screen for Apple CarPlay, and I can scroll through all my different icons, and I can also jog through my icons, which is way easier than using a touchpad while driving. And then my Apple CarPlay does not have the Apple Maps version because I deleted Apple Maps off my phone, but everything works really well. And then like map view is super wide. Again, you have to like rotary knob your way to everything, but it's definitely a lot easier to use than the touchpad while driving. And then for music and everything, like when you play your song, I think it's all full screen. And what's cool is that the newer ones doesn't have widescreen. It has a widescreen, but it won't let you do widescreen CarPlay. And then you get no haptic feedback on the new Apple CarPlay, where here, since it's a rotary dial, you do have haptic feedback because every time you click it, you know. So this is obviously the sweet spot. Now with all that out of the way, oh, yeah, there's also favorites. So if we go down, you can add favorites down here. So say you don't want to go through the menus to like turn on track pace, right? When you get in your car, all you have to do is click star, because this is set up to go home. So star home, down, and I'm a track pace. And also what I really like about this version of the infotainment, so say I'm in, let's say, radio, and then I need to use my Apple CarPlay. Instead of fiddling around and trying to find it on the trackpad or reaching, all I need to do is click the home button up and down, and I can do that without looking. So ready for this? Home button, up, and then click down, and I'm in Apple CarPlay. Whereas the other one, you have to look around and it's more distracting while driving. So, okay, that's pretty much all the infotainment. We do have a reverse camera and a forward camera, which the button for that is up here. So I'll click that for you and you can see the quality that it is. It is very good quality. Very clear. It's like kind of buried in there, a little bit weird. Maybe not the easiest thing to use and see, but for a car like this, you don't really need a 360 camera, I guess. It would be nice, but this works just fine. All right, time for the fun stuff. So this does get the updated gauge cluster like the new GLCs, even though this has the old screen. So if we click our buttons here, like always in a Mercedes, we click home, we can go left and right. So first thing, designs. We've got Super Sport, which is attack in the middle, and if I'm in drive, the gear is right there. Then when you do launch control or need to shift, everything on the outside flashes red, and there is no head-up display on this model. So if we go down to Sport, you're gonna get 2 yellow pods left and right, and if you go to Classic, they're gonna be blue. And then these ones, we can go left and right and change what's in it. personally, you know, keep it on Super Sport because that's the nicest looking one. Then if I go to phone, it'll show your phone stuff on the left, media, whatever you're playing. So it probably should be Beastie Boys. Oh, Bluetooth audio. I guess it doesn't show your CarPlay. Radio will be whatever radio station you're on, and since I'm on FM radio, because there's no satellite radio in this one, not that exciting. Navigation, you know, we don't use that navigation, but then we got trip, and what I like to do is keep it on, let's see, the trip here, and then put this to the date, so I got those two cool yellow lines on either side, and that's the cleanest version of the infotainment that I can find. And we also got AMG Performance, so your horsepower, torque, boost, all that stuff, temperature gauges, which would be useful on the track. I don't know how useful the G gauge would be, but the rest of the stuff is pretty useful. And then assistance, you don't really have much, so you don't need it. It's kind of just like blind spot monitoring. And service. So I would keep it in trip. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and drive modes. So we've got the drive mode button right here on the steering wheel. So we've got, let's see, snow, individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and race. Then we can also customize this button here on the left. So if we want to go to manual mode, we can click that, change the suspension, and then say we want to change what's there instead of the suspension, we can click this button, and then we can toggle whatever is right here. So that's pretty cool. Let me just put it all back to sport or custom, comfort, sorry. Then if I want to go to individual, I click down. And if I want to adjust individual, it'll show up right here. And then I can change it up however I'd like. But I'm very happy with how these sport modes work, so I don't need to do that. And I guess the last thing I can touch upon, which is kind of infotainment, because it's kind of to do with this, and it does show up here on the left. If we go to, I'm not sure if we need to be in race mode or not, but turn our traction off by holding it. Now this turns on. Here, let me show you again. Turn it back on. And now when I hold this, turn it off. So then now what we can do is dial in our traction. So we can have full traction off or varying degrees of traction, so that when we're on the track, we can be very precise on how we drive. And then it also shows up on the infotainment here on the left, which is cool. And then we've also got these LCD buttons instead of hard buttons now, so we can change everything through here. Pretty cool. Kind of hard to see the stuff on this side, but whatever, because, you know, it's all here on the steering wheel too. And that's pretty much it for the 2020 AMG GT-R infotainment deep dive. Yeah, this stuff is kind of boring. It's definitely too long to put on the Straight Pipes channel, but I'm sure somebody wants to look up what the infotainments are like, and you know, it's kind of fun to do this. It's like one take and I edit it quick, and it's something to do. Hope you guys like it. Let me know what I missed, what I should talk about with infotainments. Maybe I should try like a parking challenge using cameras or something. And don't forget to subscribe.